Welcome to the first ever Metco Acknowledgement Luncheon to honor all of you fabulous parents who are every day out there doing all that they can. I'm not going to tell you too much about how this came about because I would love to give the mic to the woman who has the vision behind bringing Metco families together, and that is Miss Ivelisse Caraballo, who is a Metco mom and our executive leadership leader for Cplan. So let's give it up to Miss Ivelisse.
Thank you. So I want to tell you guys why I coordinated this and why we're all here today. In addition to just acknowledging you for the sacrifices that you made. I don't know what I did to this. Oh, there you go. Okay. You know, for the long days, for the long bus rides, for having to drive out an hour away from parent-teacher night or curriculum night, for all the children who play sports, so you left your child at 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning and don't see them again until 7 or 8 that night. I mean, there are so many things. I could go down the list of sacrifices that we make to make sure that our children have quality education. I just want to make a couple of statements so that it can kind of give you a vision of why it is that I put this together. Show of hands, how many people here are not from America? Okay, where are you from? Cape Verde, right, okay. So name, actually you don't have to give me a name of a dish because I kind of already know. But like, we're in a Cape Verdean restaurant, right? So if I know that you guys love cachupa. That's your, you don't? Look, she's an exception to the rule. So name a dish that you actually really like that's Cape Verdean traditional dish. Bacalao? Okay. So let's say that you tell me, go in that kitchen and make some bacalao, right? And I just have an idea of what it is based on things that I've heard, things that I've seen, but you didn't give me a recipe and you didn't give me instructions on how to make it. What are the chances of me going in there and making it the way you like it? Okay. Another statement I want to make, but remember that, keep that in mind. I'm not going to be able to go and make that in the kitchen because she didn't give me the recipes or the instructions to cook that, right? The next thing is that one of the reasons why Metco exists is because they're supposed to increase diversity in the districts. But why does it have to end in the classroom? I've looked up a lot of profiles for the schools in the districts. They literally, for most of them, have 100% staff white. Over 70% of the Metco students are African American. The next is multiracial, and then Latinos, and then other goes down that way, right? So, okay, now you're wondering, Ivelisse, how do these things even make sense with each other? Because we are sending our kids to these districts without giving them the recipe and the instructions on how to teach our children, how to interact with our children, how to discipline our children. So how likely are they to get it right? So one of the reasons why I did this is because I want us to share best practices, strategies, and ways that we can partner up with the districts and give them the recipe and the instructions on how we can make it diverse. Not only in the classrooms, but even with their staff. I mean, I would love it if my daughter could go to school and learn more about her African history and her Latino history other than slavery, Malcolm X, and Martin. Although those are very important, but is that the only thing? There's so much more to our history. I would love it if my daughter could go and see images, read literature, and see people that she feels connected to. People that will inspire her to want to do much in life, not feel inferior to anyone or anything. And so these are the types of things that I brought us together for, is because I want to be able to collaborate with the districts, and some of them are very receptive. They're more receptive than you think. And so that's what we're here today. I want to make another quick statement about diversity. When my daughter was really, really young, my daughter came home one day and she said, "Mom, I'm not as smart as the rest of the students there." And I had to figure out a way to let her know that she was much more than what she was seeing. So I had to teach her about differences. You're just different. But how do you look at that through a positive perspective? They have just as much to learn from you as you do from them, and here's why. And I gave her a metaphor. I said, if you and I were in a contest to build a birdhouse in 30 minutes, I built the birdhouse in 30 minutes and you're not done. Who wins the contest? She said, well, you do. I said, but hold on a second. My birdhouse doesn't have any windows. It doesn't have any details. It doesn't have any artistic writings on the side. It doesn't even have the little stem where the birds sit at. But you didn't finish because yours does have all of the details that I missed. Who won? She was too young at the time. She was like, I ain't got time for this. So I said to her, I said, that means that we have different strengths. But now what would happen if we were to work together? We would make a really good birdhouse, and I would make sure that we got it done on time, and you would make sure that I didn't miss out on any details. That is who you are in that space. You have your own strengths and your own abilities, and it doesn't make one better than the other. It just means that you can learn from each other, and when you work together, you can reach that goal. And so those are the types of things that I had to teach my daughter from, because she started from first grade. She's now going into she's in the 10th now. I had to give her a lot of pep talks to get her through it. And now she no longer feels inferior. Now she knows that she's just as smart and has just as much to offer. So I just wanted to make those two quick statements as to why we're all together, and I guess, you know, as the day moves along, you'll get an understanding of how that works. Thank you.
Okay, so now you guys see why we're all here together, right? And so just really quick, so for those who don't know, Cplan is the Collaborative Parent Leadership Action Network. And most of the time you only hear about district and charter, so this is our first attempt to really bring the Metco experience into this conversation, because usually people forget about Metco, and Ibeliz is determined for that not to happen moving forward. And so thank you so much for your leadership in organizing this event. So I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Doncor, right? Who's going to take us to the next part of our journey.
So if I got everyone stand really quick, so I don't like everyone come out and speak to who came in. Yes, we're going to have it. All right.
So one for each person?
And does everyone have a pen or a writing utensil? You guys can see because I thought you all had the CPC part done already. So on the stickies, what I would like you all to do is I want you to think about your experiences. This is for the parents as well as for the children. I want you to think about what have been some of your negative interactions or experiences with the Metco program. So think about what has been some of your negative experiences, and write them on the sticky for me really quickly.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
Yep, so whatever your negative experiences have been with the Metco program, just write that on the sticky. It's for the children as well as for the parents. Alright? Just two. We don't want to go no more than two. Some of us may have a whole sticky word front and back of negative experiences.
That's what he was just telling me. Yeah. I don't have a pen. I thought I did. It's okay. I was thinking of like writing on the
right, so once you have your stickies, then you may stand up. And that way I'll know who's finished already.
Thank you.
When you hear your voice, you're like, alright, so please make sure that you write at least 2 experiences, 2 negative experiences that you've had on that sticky. Okay? So 2 negative experiences that you have with the Metco program on the sticky. Then once you have that written down, please stand. Go. Then once you have it written, those 2 things written down, you can just stand up. Just stand up. How you all feeling? Good? Have a great session tonight. Have some good food, good conversation. All right, so while we just wait for this picture really quick, I'm going to teach you all 2 words. Y'all ready to learn? Yeah. Right. So the first word is an ancient African word comes from West Africa. And that word is Ashe. Can I hear y'all say Ashe? Ashe. They keep forcing me.
It's a lot of noise back here.
All right. I used to be an MC, so when I see these things, I be wanting to, be all professional. Thank you so much about this. What is the word again? Ashe. Ashe, beautiful. So in the Yoruba tradition, which is it's in the western region, but it's a little south, but it was one of the old ancient African traditions, or tribes rather, and cultures, that is now in the region known as Nigeria. And what that means is it's spelled slightly different than it was used in the north. And what it essentially means is that may the words that come out from my mouth breathe life. So what is the word?
Ashe.
Awesome. How many English majors here, or English teachers? Any teachers? Any teachers here? No? No one? All right, cool. It is? How do you say it? Ah, see? Say it again. Ashe. Ashe. Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. If you go north into the northern region, which is now known as Ghana, there is the ancient Akan tribe who uses the same phonetic sound for Ashe, which in the Akan tradition, it means that we are all in agreement. So can I have everyone say the word again?
Ashe.
All right. So now what we are going to do is, in order to begin, I need to find who is the youngest person here. Nope. Sorry, young king. How old are you, sweetheart? You're 9? How old are you? You're 4? All right, can I borrow you for 1 second? Oh, wow. That was easy. I didn't expect that to go so easy. And can I have the eldest person that is here tonight? So is anyone older than 50? Raise your hand. Keep them up. 60. 70. All right, can I borrow you, miss? Pretty please? What's your name? Char. Nice to meet you. I'm What's your name, miss? Mariam. Nice to meet you. So in ancient traditions and ancient cultures, that it is important that we understand that no session can really begin unless we are granted permission by our elders as well as from our youth. So Miss Mariana, may I begin, please? Thank you so much. Miss Char, may I begin, please? Miss Charm. Miss Charm, may I begin, please? All right, so you're going to hold this, okay? Okay. What I would like us to do is, I would like everyone to hand your stickies to the person that is closest to Charm. So hand your stickies to the person that is closest to Charm for me, pretty please. All right, does everyone pass in their stickies? All right, there's no cheating now. All right, everyone has to participate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna participate in a tradition known as tambiko. And tambiko in Kiswahili simply means libation, okay? So for this first round, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to think of all of the names that you utilize when you think about your faith. So what are the names that you utilize to identify your highest supreme being? Does that make sense? All right. The English word for that is called religion. Okay? And Miss Mariana, for every time we say a word, everyone's going to say our word. It's Ashe. And she's going to pour a small drop into our water bucket. So, let us begin. Call out the names. We don't have to raise our hands, so just call the names that you utilize when you identify your faith. What are the names? All right? And when someone says a name, we all say? Ashe. Keep them coming.
Mommy.
Mommy is a God. That's right. Ashe. 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 Oshun. Ashe. Chango. Ashe. Come on, guys. Call them out. All right, so now we're going to transition to the ancestral realm, right? So this is the realm from which our ancestors have transitioned. They've left this physical earth, but they are still acting and moving on our behalf. So who are the people to whom you love and utilize and call on to give you strength, so that even though they are not physically here with us, you know that they keep and protect you? What are their names? Ashe. 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 Diane Carol Smith. Ashe. Ashe. If we cannot identify as many from our direct lineages, who are the people we look to in our textual lineages, our own textual history? What are some of the names that we call on? Ashe. 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 Nana Francis Cresswellson. Ashe. Ashe. Amilcar Cabral. Ashe. 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 He ain't transitioned yet, but we still gonna give him love. All right, next, I want y'all to think about something that's amazing that's happened in your life. What is something that has occurred for you, and you've always tried to identify what it was that allowed this miracle to happen for you, and you've never been able to pinpoint what it was. And in ancient African traditions, it's believed that if you can speak it and say it, that whatever that person is, that miracle can happen for them. So think about your own miracles in your own life. And what I would like you to do right now is to think about someone who is not here in this room with us right now. Someone who needs a miracle to happen for them in this physical world. So that wherever they are moving about in this physical life, that through our vibration from our voices, that they will be blessed with whatever it is that you know in your mind needs to happen for them. So let's call their names out right now. Ashe. Chris Porter Edler. Ashe. 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 For this last one, we understand that life is precious. That it is not without life that we can continue to keep our cultures and our traditions alive. That even despite having been colonized for hundreds of years, that we were able to keep the traditions and the cultures deep rooted inside of our DNAs, that sometimes when we act out, we don't even realize the direct ties that it has to some of our cultural heritage. So we understand that it is through the children and through the youth, like Charm, that we are going to be able to keep the rituals, the traditions, the themes, the ideas, and all of the ancient traditions from our elders alive. So to all the onboard children, we say in unison, one, Ashe.
Ashe.
So at this time, it's important that the elders understand that it is through transitional leadership that we keep this alive. So Miss Mariana is going to pass the water to Charm. Charm, you're going to pass the vase to Miss Mariana. May this small gesture be a constant reminder of how important our children are. That they are the conduits through which we keep our cultures and our history and our legacies alive. And as much as we want to protect them and hover over them, that we at some point have to release that responsibility to our babies so that they can carry on the traditions and the ways that they best see fit for the generations to last. So at this time, we're going to say 3 Ashes to close out this libation, and then we can grab a seat. So we are in a restaurant that looks like it has, and is used to music. So we want to send some vibrations to the folks that are in the back that have no idea what's going on over here. And that's okay. They're going to learn today. They're going to learn about the power of Miss Evalise. All right, and the movement that's happening in the Metco system, right? And what's going to happen? They're going to be like, I don't know what went on over there, but something powerful happened that day, and then they went out and changed and affected the whole system, right? No, I'm serious. If we look at any of the revolutions that have occurred for our people, it was always a libation that set the tone for the people, and then they went out and impacted and changed the world. So you have the power. No, it does not matter how many you have. And we call everybody, but whoever answers the call are the ones that are going to impact the change. Can I get one Ashe? Ashe. All right, so Charm, you're going to pour. Charm, you're going to pour one drop in there. Once she pours the first drop, can I get another? Ashe. And for this last one, I want you to say it so loud that they feel it over there. Are y'all ready? Nice and loud. Round of applause for Miss Mariana and Sean. Good job. Today, as we continue to embark upon this journey that Ms. Caraballo has envisioned for us, may you continue to remember what you have seen here today. She spoke and talked about recipes that we need in order to go in the kitchen and chef up what happens. But it's also important that we never forget the ancient traditions that we carry with us from whatever countries we came from. That is an asset and a value that we have to access and utilize more of our brain in order to consistently survive within this system, or any system that we send our children and our babies to. And we have the skills, but how do we utilize those skills to empower us, as Evalise has mentioned, rather than make it seem like we have a deficit or we have an issue? So to that, can I get one last ashe?
Ashe.
All right, so Miss Evalise, we ready to rock?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to leave this here for the dinner, and at the end, I'm going to pull one of them out, okay? And then we're going to have a conversation about what that is, okay? So I'm leaving it here. Tell the waitresses don't walk away. All right. All right, so my fault. I'm like, I get through libation and I like need a moment. I gotta get my thoughts together. So you guys have all come here today to begin to have a conversation around what your experiences have been in Metco. And this is an open dialogue. So not only is it an opportunity for us to eat and break bread with one another, but we really want to take the time to really begin to think about what are the experiences that we're having and how do we shift and move those experiences into a space where we can begin to be more proud of what's happening and not have to hear our children come home after long days and like Evalise's daughter, complain about feeling like they're not enough, right? So my first question to you all is, let's talk about this really quick. When we begin to think about our own personal ancestors and while I was doing libation, it was very interesting that everyone spoke when we talked about your direct lineage. So what that says to me is that we are all tied and bonded to people who have loved and basically groomed us to where we are now. And we all make decisions on a daily basis that we are doing and acting on the best of not only of our ancestors, but also for the children to come, so our grandchildren and their children's children. And we hope that on a daily basis, we are able to make decisions that will be in the best interest of them. Can I get an ashe?
Ashe.
All right. So with that being said, my first question is, why did you enroll your child into the Metco program? So why did we enroll our children? That's what happened to me.
So maybe if you want to speak, you can just come up.
So why do we enroll our children into the program?
He enrolled himself. Okay.
Right.
I have bad education at my old school. Yeah.
What school was that?
I don't know.
Was it a BPS school?
Yeah. He went to
So was this
Can't hear you, Evie.
Sorry. So how do you feel about you going to Swampscott, right?
I love education.
All right, so one other tradition that I would implement in my classroom, wait, is when someone shares that's something intimate and from their own personal experience, you'll hear me saying to that we say, and in unison we all say thank you, right? Because that took a lot of courage, and we want to honor that young king, the courage that it took for you to come up here. So to that we all say,
thank you.
Thank you, young king. Want to, but why did we enroll our children into the Metco program? Someone else. Yeah.
I enrolled my daughter with the idea of a better education, with the hope of a better education, a more diverse atmosphere, and a big idea of possibly obtaining more opportunities, like being in other activities that weren't offered in hospital schools. That was my reason.
So that we all say.
Thank you.
Something over here? Give her the mic.
done a lot of really good things. But other than that, I feel like it's much better than a Boston public school, because Boston public school don't get a great education. And I know that because I went to one for 6 years before I came here, and I went to Boston Science before me.
To that we all say,
Thank you.
So maybe for some of the other children that are enrolled, how does it feel for you all that are in the school? For the parents, the question is, why did you enroll your child into Metco? For some of the children, maybe how does it feel for you? Right? So thank you, young sister, for leading us in that direction. Right? So for the children, how's knowing that? How do you feel in school? Okay. To that we all say, thank you. All right. So my next question is, as a parent, you know, like everybody said, right? Your child is leaving sometimes 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Sometimes they don't come home until 7 or 8. How have you felt about the decision that you have made? So how have you felt about the decision you made enrolling your child into the Metco system?
I feel like I made a better decision for my child. My child started in the 2nd grade. I based my reaction to the decision on how she felt the first year she was there. And she was very excited. And she loves being in the district that she's in. She loves the people, she loves her teachers, she loves the children. So it makes me feel like I made a really great decision because she gets up and is very excited and ready to go and ready to learn. No matter how early she gets up, no matter how late she comes back, she absolutely loves it and wants to do it again. And so that makes me feel like I made the best decision that I could.
Now we all say thank you. Anyone else?
For me, I have 4 children. I have 3 adults. My oldest daughter is 31. My son is 29, and my almost baby is 26. So they all actually attended school in Boston. From kindergarten to 8th grade, I put my 3 children into a Catholic school because I didn't have the confidence. I actually went to English high school when I came here from Haiti. So I didn't have the confidence because of all the struggles and, you know, the education that I was getting. My mom had to get a lot of tutoring. You know, she had to do a lot in order for me to continue my education. So Boston Public School actually was not even an option when I started to have children. It was just like, I'm going to put my kids in the Catholic school, which I did. Eventually, when my son, my 26-year-old, was in 1st grade, we were told that they believed that he had he needed extra help. So in the Catholic school, couldn't provide any support for him because they didn't have the resources to help him. So now I had to take him out and put him in a public school, and my other 2 children, I had to keep them in the Catholic school. It was really, really, really hard. I struggled every day. I spent so much time at the schools. You know, we had a lot of IEP meetings, a lot of disagreements. It was really, 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 really hard. And I feel fortunate because I have an education and I had a lot of support from a lot of people, like the whole community. Like I always said, that it really does take a village to raise a child. And I reached out to a lot of people who were very helpful, and they helped me. And again, I'm proud to say that my son was able to go to college. That was my plan for him, and he graduated from college. But then when God blessed me with this beautiful little
child, and now I'm so much older, I'm thinking about retirement. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be paying for this one to go to school. So then that's why I signed her up for Metco. And she has had ups and downs. She's in the 4th grade now. She loved it up until like this year. She seems, to be more aware about a lot of things. Like she's asking about, she's different, her hair is different. I had to get rid of my perm because I'm like, I need to, look a certain way because that's how she looks. I want to look like her so she doesn't feel, mom is beautiful because she has, straight hair and stuff like that. So I'm already going to some of the struggles with her, but I still feel that she is getting a really good education. So I'm really happy with that. I'm sorry I talk so much. You can tell me to stop anytime. So anyways, but I'm already going to. And then I've met with a lot of parents. I attended a lot of the Metco parent meetings. This year they actually nominated me to be the chair of the parent council. And because I've had a lot of experience, so then people want to talk to me, and I've heard a lot of great stories, but I've heard a lot of sad stories too, where a lot of kids are like struggling, especially boys. Like there are a lot of issues that we have to keep finding ways to motivate our kids, and in ways that we wouldn't have to if they were in the Boston public school. My daughter goes to Needham.
To that we all say
Thank you.
So I think that's a great opportunity to kind of segue off a little bit. What are some of the things that you are having struggles with? So I asked you initially to write on the sticky maybe 2 things that you all are having issues with. So what are some of the struggles, right, that we're facing with the actual schools themselves? So what are some of the things that we may be experiencing in the schools?
Not being able to do like some after school programs because of the time, because of the bus schedule, really, and parents working, it's just not really able to do a lot.
So what I hear you saying is that that because of the distance and the travel, that it's not allowing you the opportunity to take full advantage of other extracurricular activities, right? So to that we say, thank you for sharing again, sister. Maybe some of the parents, what are some of the things that, we're still struggling with or having issues with? I mean, the education, it seems like there's a binding theme that between all of the choices that you've had to make between where you chose to send your child, whether it was Boston public schools or whether it was charter, it seems like this is the better space, better choice to make considering what they will learn. But what are some of the issues that we're facing in those school systems? So I'm going to go here, and then can I have you come this way?
I feel like the bus is a really big issue for a lot of parents in a lot of districts. And I feel like for my daughter and her district, her bus has made several time changes within 1 month. Just this month alone, we've had about 5 changes. And it is very frustrating for me because as someone who has to be at work very early, because I have revolved my schedule around my daughter's schedule. So I completely changed my work schedule to accommodate her and everything. So when they're late, or when they change schedules for the bus and not tell us, and then they change it and then tell us it's still not a final change, it frustrates me. It's very frustrating for me. And also, I feel like a lot of the Metco directors, coordinators, bus monitors, they're not very sensitive to the fact that it's a long bus ride. From there, coming back home, they're really not tolerant of the fact that the kids are restless, they are restricted for about an hour, hour and a half, they are hot sometimes, they are cold sometimes. I just don't think that they're really cognizant of the fact that it really takes a toll on the children as well.
To that we say,
thank you.
One of the things I struggle with is it's the preconceived notion that some of the staff or teachers may have with your child's ability. I think recently I've come a little bit more into power to kind of set the tone in the schools about my kid and tell them about her, as opposed to them telling me about her. You know, I've said to them, we're not poor people from Boston that are lucky to come to your schools. We are strategically thinking parents who, we put our kids on these lists from like pregnancy, you know, and we wait out, we weigh our options. And I think when it comes down to it, we have BPS, which is failing us on some levels. We can pay for it, or we can use this Metco opportunity. And I think a lot of us strategically choose Metco. And I like these teachers who, some of them just don't know us, they don't know about us, they don't know our cultures, like Ivelisse says, you know. And so it's really important for us to get out there and tell them. And I think I struggle with having to do that sometimes. We work hard, we're hardworking parents, we're good families, and to have to go prove that in the education, in our kids' education, you know, life, it can be tough. Yeah.
To that we say,
Thank you.
My last question. Oh, yes, ma'am. My apologies.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not even going to stand up. My name is Cynthia Jones, and my child is a Bedford Metco student. He is now a high schooler, and one of the concerns is racism. And although he's just entering high school, I've been seeing the notices along the way of issues that have happened in the high school pertaining to, you know, just racial comments in the bathroom, on the walls, different things like that in the last couple of years. So it's been happening kind of continually. So now he's been kind of not really exposed to that, but now he's in the high school, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like. So those are some one of the concerns that I have, as well as the bus issue. Yes, he has to catch the bus at 5:40 in the morning. That's not the issue. The issue is, for a long time we didn't have a car. So we had to make it to a bus stop by 5-something in the morning. And now they've moved it to a location that's right in front of a park, which there's nobody in the park in the mornings that early. And it's right across the street from sexual offenders release program. So it's like, so now I'm bringing that up, and their concern is, well, you know, they have to keep on schedule because, and I'm like, no, this is a safety issue for every child that has to walk to that place, and they're walking by themselves. So I'm like, I'm not comfortable. Yes, I can walk my son to the bus stop, but then I got to walk back home by myself at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. So that's two of my concerns.
To that we say,
Thank you.
thank you, Cynthia. What are some other issues that are concerning? Because ultimately, we want to begin to use this as a space to begin to contemplate how do we put these issues and concerns together, and to be able to go to all of the districts and say, here, listen, this is what is coming from the parents. Like, these are the sacrifices that they are making on a daily basis in order to have their children present to receive the education that you are giving them. But what is not being acknowledged is what we, when I say we, I mean the parents, are giving up, or what we are sacrificing. We're sacrificing our child's safety, and when we ask you to switch the bus, it should be an easy switch. You know, it shouldn't be an issue. But what are some other things that we would like to present to some of the Metco directors that will allow us the opportunity to have your voices heard? Don't be shy now. Mind if I go here?
I just have a small suggestion. A while ago, I had already suggested that instead of all the events that happen out in the towns, I had recommended sometimes they come to Boston, because Boston has a lot of nice highlights and restaurants and things of that nature. So I had recommended that to the superintendent, and she was supposed to take it back to the Sudbury, my kids in Sudbury, live in Sudbury. She was supposed to take it back to the families and the parents there. She said she was going to do it. She never did, and then I brought it up again at another meeting, and she thought it was a wonderful idea. So basically, it never happened. I feel like I want the director or whoever is advocating for my child within the schools to like really stress the importance of, if it's going to be diversity, I think it should go both ways a little bit. You know, like how when you're invited to a birthday party or something like that, you're going all the way out there. Are they coming to us? Like, do you see that happening? So I just want it to kind of be like both ways, not just one-sided.
Yes, go ahead, Sheila. Thank you.
So a two-way street, right? Reciprocity.
Yes.
One more quick thing. For me and for the district that I'm in, I'm also a Bedford parent. My daughter's in the 5th grade. I feel like, for me, and I don't know if this is for any other parent that's in the district, I feel like the Metco director and coordinator, I don't necessarily feel like they're understanding about certain things. Like this parent back here, this woman, she's also in Bedford. I don't have a car. And so when we miss the bus, I thankfully have a friend who lives in Concord, which is like 10 minutes away from Bedford. So she will come and get us from like Alewife and then would drop her off. And I feel like sometimes they're not understanding of the fact that I don't have a car. So sometimes I may not be able to come to certain parent things at night, or if there's something at the school I can't really attend, or if there's a parent meeting that I have to go to, they have to revolve around my schedule. I feel like they're not understanding sometimes of that, or things that happen on the bus revolving my child or any other child for that matter. I feel like they're a little bit more harsh than, let's say, the actual school district. Like the parent, the principal, assistant principals, counselors, whatever have you that is in your child's life. I feel like they're more understanding than the Metco coordinators and the Metco directors that are in that particular district.
And that, how many to that we say? Thank you again. How many others in this room feel like that the things that you may not have control over, right? Like your child is then penalized once they arrive at the school for things that are outside of their control, right? How many other folks or mothers here have had that feeling that somehow your child is being penalized for the things that they're not even in control over? Because what I'm hearing is like, if you miss that bus, then your child is going to be, deducted for that day, right? Or
she said at any point, if you need me, I'm literally 10 minutes away from her school. If you need us, we got, but there are some parents that don't have that. There are parents that don't know what they're going to do once their child misses the bus. I'm lucky that I have great support systems in my friends, even my friends that live in Boston that have cars. They're like, just call me as soon as you miss the bus. Call me right away, I'll come get you. A lot of parents don't have that. And they're not, a lot of the Metco staff in the particular districts don't really I don't know if they understand, but I don't think that they're really sympathetic to certain things.
Thank you.
And those of us that have cars, we're chasing the bus all morning. No.
All right, so we're gonna just switch gears really quickly to kind of like lighten the mood. But before I do that, I want to say, that it's very, very important to acknowledge your own sacrifices on a daily, if not weekly basis, right? That the decision that you've made should not at any point defeat you, right? I thank you for sharing, your narrative around your son who's 26 years old now. But as parents who are living with the children now and are chasing after the buses, if we miss that bus, I'm sure you go to work, right, with that on your heart, or on top of that, you're also trying to figure out who they're going to be with for the day, so that way you don't have to miss a day of work. So I definitely want to honor you all for all of the sacrifices that you are making in order to make this a reality, and it's not easy, right? So as we continue to talk and dialogue, I know we're warming up and we're getting there. Continue to think about how we begin to be the voice of folks who may have been or felt like they were voiceless at your individual school. But remember, we're a collective. Well, not we. I work for Boston Public Schools, but I'm down with y'all for the night, right? But we are a collective of parents and networks that are trying to ensure that our children have better outcomes, right? So continue to think about that, and please do not be shy. Please share what your struggles are, so that way we can begin to mobilize not only the folks that are here tonight, but also the parents who are not here with us.
But we actually we made that suggestion to the Needham superintendent. They actually, once a year, they bring their meeting to Roxbury, where all the parents attend and everyone attend, where they can hear what we're working on, they see our community and stuff. So that's something that at least I know Needham is doing. I don't know about other districts, but I know, yeah.
Not too many of them want to come. Yeah, I know that. A lot of them don't want to come to our neighborhoods. So just to switch up the tone a little bit, what are some fun facts that you know that most parents don't know? Does anyone know any fun facts about the Metco program, how it works?
Price is right now.
Yes, I do. I do know a lot of fun facts. I'm about to pass them out right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few fun fact cards. We don't have, because I want to get you guys eating sooner rather than later, I'm going to just have you guys really talk about one, but I want you to read the other ones, just so that you have it in your minds, and discuss one of the entire stack, and then one person can then share with the group what was discussed. Is that? Oh. Okay. Does that sound okay? All right. Awesome.
And while y'all doing that, we want to make a quick announcement that if you see we're recording, we're trying to document this process, and there are a lot of people who aren't able to be here today, so we're live in creating that space for those to tune in as they know how, right? And if you are, for any reason, uncomfortable with that, just raise your hand, and the person who's going live, which is this woman right here named Tayla, raise your hand and we'll be real mindful of that. But just want to let you know that that is happening because we neglected to tell you that earlier. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. The panelists. Yes.
That one right there.